And we're live.
Hola, Madrid. This is welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. You guys know the drill. If you're new here, don't forget to smash the like. We are on the road to 3K. Would like to thank our, cornerstone supporters who have been with us since day one, who has been with us through, thick and thin. Farouk, talk to me. 2K,
Yeah, bro. I
3K
mean,
shouldn't be
it
difficult.
was so real, man. Honestly, we set out the target of beating 2K before the season ran out, and we're there, man.
Yeah,
As you said, like
yeah.
it's honestly credit to everyone who's been tuning in, the audio listeners, the people who follow us, and it's been a great season, and both on the pitch and off the pitch, for us. And honestly, man, it's been phenomenal. And I was seeing the 2K earlier today, and like, yeah, man, it's mind blowing, man. This is basically, to quote Drake, we started from the bottom, now we're here, but we're not here yet. We're on the way getting here. That's the thing.
100%. This is one of the cotton races for next season, because going by how this season is finishing off, Farouk, tell me one thing: are you optimistic?
Definitely, man. I mean, bro, you're seeing, the way. I mean, right now you're looking at the team and how easy it is for
Mm,
both Jude and Vinicius Junior to play. It's like they play effortlessly without breaking a sweat. Bro.
mm.
It's crazy, man. And then looking at the potential of what could happen next season, with the addition of a certain Kylian Mbappe. I mean, that's just mouth-watering, man. Like shit, could literally. Yeah, I mean, we could play football, man. Honestly, we could play
We have
football.
differed, Farouk. Like whenever you and me are on, like we kind of have contrasting opinions on Carlo. There have been periods where we were on the same boat, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
overall, like, you think there might be better managers out there who can make us play better football consistently. Might not win much, but we'll have a proper identity on most occasions. But for me, like I've always said, Carlo is the way forward. Carlo is the now, right? But Farouk, going into next season, has Carlo given you a lot more to be confident about compared to last year or the year we won the
Uh,
14th? Is my
no,
question.
I would say my opinion on Carlo remains same, man. He's a man who's gonna
Mm,
give you the trophy, but the question is how you win the trophy. Is no, it's where that's where the issue is gonna be because for example, now we see a game like today, like it's basically
yeah,
there is no handbrakes, there is no pressure, there is nothing to play for, and you could see it's just free flowing football as I was saying earlier. Like literally, the players were playing without any effort. Like it was something that was coming so easy. So maybe that's the thing. Like when there is nothing when the chips are no longer down and there is no pressure,
holy
there is nothing.
fucking shit! I'm sorry to cut you off, Farouk. Guess who Sid met 5 minutes ago?
Who did Sidney Jude?
No, no, it can't be that crazy. No, no way, no way. Hey, yeah, relax. Yeah, people inside the stadium would be lucky, if he can, if they can talk to Jude for a second. But he met Sid Lowe, so yeah,
Oh,
pick up
wow,
Sid,
wow,
Sid
that's
Lowe,
crazy, man. I mean,
big
yeah,
up
man,
Sid.
honestly, like,
Sid
yeah,
has a
I mean,
way, doesn't he,
yeah, yeah,
Farouk?
yeah,
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 you
yeah,
you saw it
definitely.
live. Yeah, this
Yeah,
man
yeah.
has some juju, that he
Sid,
can
Sid,
work.
Sid. Yeah, Sid is
Basically,
a very, very resourceful person, honestly, like credit
underrated,
100%,
underrated,
man.
underrated.
He's a very resourceful person. I of course like because they have a lot of shit going on, but like Sid is also a very proper football person. Honestly, like and
100%, 100%.
talking to him about the game also, it's really phenomenal. Honestly. So
Yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah.
shout out, man, shout out to Sid.
Shout out,
It's
shout out,
great.
shout out.
It's great, man, that we met with Sid Lowe because like for me like. Yeah, man, Sid Lowe is one of the OGs, man. He's one of the few, like, they have the Spanish football podcast, and it's one of the very few podcasts I listen to actually outside of us, because, like, I feel like all the podcasts are just
Farouk,
frustrated.
tell me one thing. Did he used to write for Guardian?
He used to write for
Oh,
The Guardian. Yeah, true.
right, right.
He used to.
That's how
He
I
used to.
basically first
He
got to
used to.
know him.
Yeah,
Because
but I think now predominantly he writes for the ESPN, I guess,
ESPN,
predominantly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's kind of on the outskirts of football journalism for the past, good 2 years or so, because he has been doing the Oviedo thing where he's kind of the club ambassador and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, whenever he is on, on anything. Basically, it's superb. And let's see what Sid cooked. I'm getting a little too giddy, because this is one of those moments when you're 13, 14, you hear about Sidlow, you hear about Graham Hunter, stuff like
Yep,
that.
yep, yep, yep,
Finally,
yep.
you get to kind of have them on. But yeah, on to what a performance that was, Farouk. I was on cloud nine. Honest to God, like, yeah, you're kind of consistent with your Carlo verdict, right? But one thing you can't deny is, you give this man, you know the tools, right? Yes, it can't be consistent, but when it clicks, did you see the way? Like, I was so taken aback by the way how just fluid it was. The front four of Jude, Vini, Arda Güler, and Rodrigo. Man, that just looks like, leave out Mbappe for the moment, right? Just them four being themselves is just it's a nightmare prospect. Yes, you could argue the game is gone. It's what, 4-0 on the scoreboard already. The title is done. Alaves' season is done. They're on the beach. They're safe, right? But still, Farouk, what the team kind of showed today was a very, very high level, the performance.
Definitely very high level. I can't deny that. I think it's one of the best performances we've seen since the turn of the year. But then again, I just, maintain my rhetoric that, okay, like, if the title is on the line, do you play like this against Barcelona, or do you play like this against Atletico Madrid? This is the question
Mm.
that comes begging. So these are things that need to, because as I said, like, the title and nothing is on the line. It's just today was a party. Like, the title, the trophy was lifted at the Bernabeu in front of the fans and all what's not. So it was a celebration. It was a party, literally. As you mentioned, Alaves are on the beach already. They really do not care about anything anymore. Nothing's going to change in their in their season. Similarly for us, so it is there. Like, I just still feel like, with Carlo again, I don't expect convincing performances when it comes to the big games. Across next year. You understand? It's just that, yeah, like, he's the best coach to give freedom, to the players. And I also think what we saw today is, in my opinion, it's not down to the tactical genius of Carlo Ancelotti, but rather the freedom that he has given the players of how to express
100%,
themselves.
100%, 100%.
So that's it.
Now, like, I would completely agree with you, Farouk. I mean, this isn't, a tactical masterclass that's going to be talked about for years. But man, when tactics were needed, Carlo has shown that he can really tweak around a few things. Yes, he doesn't, meddle with it much, like, someone who is bald, right? For instance, he is much more of a crowd pleaser, of a people's manager. He just knows how to get a tune out of his arsenal of players, man. It just goes to show this guy can win and keep winning. Let's start with the opening few minutes. We got to kind of see what Thibaut is about. How fit can he be? Boom, boom. In the first minute or so, two massive saves, double block. In general, Farouk, Thibaut is looking like he's super sharp. Remember the close range save from Yanis Hadji, who isn't close to what Ashik Haji can do, but
Yeah,
is
yeah.
looking like he is decent. I never expected him to be decent. I've heard very mediocre things about Yanis Haji, but Thibaut, man, is looking like he is here to stay.
Definitely, man. I mean, that's just it. Like, I mean, I was reading, just after the game, or I think it was on the sub or whatever. Like, anyways, like, it's like he is the first goalkeeper to make 10 saves while keeping a clean sheet since, San Ike. It's crazy. Like, as you said, like, even at the preview, we talked about that. Like, subconsciously, we wanted, all of us to give Thibaut a challenge so we can see what he's made of. Is he,
Yeah,
how does he respond? And like thereof, and like, he had 10 shots on to face, and I think he did phenomenal. And as you said, like, starting from the very, I think it was the second minute or the third minute where they had those, quick fire. I think it was even three shots at once or some shit like that.
yeah, yeah. Our
So
our defending on that play is just
exactly,
comical.
it
People
was pure
trying to
comedy,
clear
man.
left, right, and center. Mm.
Exactly. It was pure comedy, honestly. But yeah, like, Thibaut literally, has always been, the sense of calm in the chaos that we've always had, with
Yeah,
either it's Alaba and Militao or
yeah.
with Rudiger and whatever. So, like, Thibaut has always been that sense of calm. And today again, he reiterated that thing. He was a man on a mission, honestly. Like, he was like there, like, okay, like, I need to prove that, yeah, I deserve, you
Yeah.
know, that starting spot, come June 1st, come Wembley, you understand?
He
So
doesn't need to
that's the thing.
prove about prove anything about his metal. He just needed to prove that he's sharp enough. That's the
Exactly.
yeah
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you just needed to, as you mentioned, that's. I mean,
mm,
I think, in my opinion, I think if it was any other goalkeeper in the world, like there is no
yeah
doubt in stats, but like it's because it's Thibaut that like it's like okay,
yeah
there is even a discussion about okay, yeah, this guy has to start because there's a reason
mm,
for that. Like if you're the
mm,
best in the world, you're just the best in the world. That's the whole thing, now.
yeah. Like honestly, like my see, I'm a guy who can go either way, right? Like I'm a guy who, unlike many of us on the panel, like I basically am consistent with some of my viewpoints, but sometimes emotions can get the better of me, like you all know. But the more I see Thibaut like this, like I'm with you guys. Like I can't. Like, yes, I feel terrible for Lunin. Which I'm always gonna feel that he deserved a spot. But if you guys go back and listen to some of the the post matches or previews we did, I used to say that fate would be very cruel to Lunin. If Thibaut makes the return, and is fit enough to play. But man, stats like he's the first goalkeeper since 2008 um, to make 10 saves in a game without conceding. That's since Iker Casillas in 2008. Just goes to show this man just has a penchant for stepping up when his team needs him, especially that second save, that second or third save of the game, near post. Yanis Hadji, the ball basically was past him. Kind of reminded me of the save against, was it Bernardo Silva or Mbappe, Farouk? I can't remember. But one of those classic saves in the Champions League, near post, last stitch, turning it away. It's just the norm for
I think it
Thibaut,
was
right?
Mbappe in
Mm.
the. I think it was Mbappe in the tie we played in Paris, where like they scored,
Yeah,
where he scored literally in the last minute with that phenomenal goal. Yeah, I think it was that
yeah.
game.
Mbappe, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. There you go. This is just the norm. Like it doesn't surprise anyone, when Thibaut pulls it off. But yeah, looking good with Thibaut. Right. Let's talk about the next best thing on the planet. Probably the best thing on the planet right now. Irrespective of who you support, you just can't tip your hat off to this man. Was injured for 2 months. Coming back was difficult. I did question his mentality. Um, his temperament, but when the games started coming in thick and fast and the games started to aggravate in terms of importance and gravity, this man is just yeah, basically, if he wins the Copa America, Farouk, is there a question as to who should win the Ballon d'Or?
Definitely not. If he wins the Copa America and if everything goes well, on June 1st, I think the question is closed. I mean,
Mm,
unless if Jude goes ahead and also wins the Euros, and that's where there's going to be a debate. And I think, in my opinion, I think if Jude wins the Euros, the English PR machine are going to be much more stronger than we can imagine. And
mm,
I mean, for me, I don't think there is going to be like, someone deserve it or someone doesn't deserve it. I feel like if Jude
yeah,
or Vini wins, both of them are
we'll all be
deserving
happy.
players.
We'll all be
Yeah,
happy.
they're both deserving players, honestly. But
But you know what,
yeah,
Farouk? Sid
mhm,
told me something, right? A couple of
yeah,
days ago when we were talking. He did tell me that a very good point, actually, that once Mbappe comes in, it's going to be the Mbappe PR, right? It's going to be the Mbappe PR machine working overtime, working 24/7 to basically, like, even a club wouldn't mind it, like it's Cristiano levels of hype, um, basically. But Vinny would still be in the equation some way or the other, because these guys are going to be battling it out. But Jude is going to be the one who will be missing out because he's a midfielder. And when it comes to debates like this, the goals weigh in much more than the average person would deem to think, right? Especially when it's a popularity contest that is the Ballon d'Or. Um, do you think if Jude is to miss out, this is his last hurrah? Before he can basically be in the conversation again.
I mean, what I think is that not just Jude, I think
Mm,
for Vinicius as well. I think because as you
mm,
rightly mentioned, it's going to be a
mm,
Kylian Mbappe PR. Like Kylian Mbappe
mm.
basically is a PR on his own. That's one thing for
Yeah.
sure. So if he comes to the team, like
Yeah.
he's going to be the leader of the attack. At least that's what
Mm.
it seems like. Although like I would beg to differ. That in my opinion, I think Vinicius has earned the right until otherwise, to be the
Mm.
leader. But like yeah, Kylian Mbappe, like I think he's the player with the highest ceiling in the world. Honestly, you understand? So like
Mm.
you can understand why they'll do that. So I think, but not just for Jude, but I think also for Vini as well. Both of
Yeah.
them, like it's going to be their last chance because the PR machine of Real Madrid is going to just push Kylian Mbappe towards that. So it's not possible to have both, Jude and both Kylian and Vini being there at the same time. So only one of them has to be there. And so
Yeah.
all indications it seems like it's gonna be, Kylian Mbappe. So I think also for Vini, it's most likely, another an only chance maybe, unless if something extraordinary happens. We don't know, like because definitely there's still levels that Vini can still achieve, but also Jude Bellingham as well still has levels that he
Mm.
can achieve because I felt like today was one of those games that you could actually understand why Real Madrid spent a lot of money for Jude. You understand? Not
Yeah.
the early season when he was scoring goals. Now that was horseshit. Like they were just average performances, But like today, you could see, not today, like rather across the past weeks, although he wasn't scoring with the same frequency, but you could see the
Yeah.
reason why Real Madrid paid for him. All the goals that were scored today, he had the hand in
Mm.
them. Either he started the attack, he scored the goals, he gave the assist before the assist, or shit like that. You understand? The
Yeah.
ease with which he was playing, it's outrageous, man. It's outrageous, honestly. Like he was playing like someone was playing FIFA with, I don't know, my pro club or whatever it is that they do. You understand shit like that. He was phenomenal, and I was actually quite surprised how Vinicius Junior was named man of the match ahead of Jude Bellingham. In my opinion, Jude was and far and over the best. Okay, not like far and over. Vini was phenomenal as well, but like I felt Jude was the best player on the pitch today. And that's the thing, I think that's the point you're trying to allude to, that eventually, like Jude will do his thing, but
Mm.
because he's the attacker with the goals, he's the one who's gonna get recognized. But yeah, this is just the other side to the game as well. But I think, but for both Vini and Jude,
Yeah.
if Mbappe comes, this is just the last chance to win the Ballon d'Or.
Summer is going to be interesting with a lot of people basically kind of trying to brainstorm. I guess it's not about dividing both our players, because you could see even at the Sibelius parade, in the bus they get interviewed together, and Jude basically says Mejor Mejor um, del Mundo. I'm trying to fucking speak Spanish, but yeah, best player in the world to Vinny. And Vinny says, no, 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 it's Jude, it's Jude. But yeah, it just goes to show these guys, are are family, and um, but the conversation is gonna, create some awkwardness, not in the dressing room, but between fans for sure, because strong cases can be made for either of those. Farouk, yeah, I know you look at performances, like you're much more about the performance, compared to maybe a guy like me, right? For me, even if you play like you are invisible for like 90 minutes, but you step up 93rd minute, injury time, you score a winner, you're my man of the match. I'm that guy. But obviously, it's not that far fetched, but you get the gist, right? For me, goals win games, and there is a reason he got the hype, because remove Jude's goals when Vinny was injured and Rodrigo weren't firing. Rodrigo, Joselu, all these guys. Brahim was trying to get in. We wouldn't really win La Liga with such ease. Um, Jude did have a huge say with his goals, but then again, this conversation is going to be, like you said, decided on the day of the final. But Vinny, man, just dazzling feet, right? Twisting guys left, right, and center. The pace at which he can basically drive at defenses, like no matter what the occasion is, whether it be a do or die semi-final against Bayern or a done and dusted Alaves, right? I mean, it's clearly a coaching instruction, tactical instruction from Carlo to not, um, let the foot off the pedal, because we have a huge season-defining game in 2 weeks. So we can't let up. We have to keep up the intensity. This is basically warming up towards the final. So the boys were completely at it, but still, Vinny just played like it was a final, like fighting for every single lost cause. You know, Obviously the petulant, notion towards the referee, despite him being yellow carded. Yeah, doesn't look great, but when things are going his way completely, like I just my heart basically, um, yeah, backs his every take on. It's just incredible to watch, man. From someone like Mo was mentioning, the Karim Benzema controversy, from there to this, Farouk, it's just monumental. This guy has basically, taken on the mantle of being the talisman, Farouk.
Definitely, man. He's a leader of the attack. That's why I said, like, I feel like, when we talk about, merit and stuff being fair and unfair, yeah, we know what Kylian Mbappe is or what Kylian Mbappe was, but we haven't seen Kylian Mbappe in the white shirt. And I think,
Yeah.
what we've seen from from Vini has been phenomenal. That, as you rightly pointed out about the controversy with Benzema, and how he has grown from that to what he is right now. He is a leader, and he is a selfless leader at that. And rightly pointed out, to the celebrations, the interview with him and Jude. It's quite interesting that we're going from a number 7 of Cristiano, who basically the best Real Madrid player in history. There is no doubt about that. But then also he was an egomaniac as well. He was a self-centered person. You go from that, and now you have a team of players that are like more like friends than anything else, and you can see how it's going there. I think the one thing we have to credit to Vinicius for a lot, it's not just about that development of on the field as well. I feel like it's also that development with the other players, the way he coexists, with the other people, and okay, we win together, we lose together. We've seen like he going on vacation with Camavinga, although he's French and Brazilian, two different things and stuff like that. So it's I think it's not just that, it's the way he's grown into the role of a captain of the team without the armband. You understand? So I think that's also something that should not be taken for granted, because like we've seen in the past, you have superstar players, but then like they just do not gel along very well with other players. I mean, let's not forget, we've literally been in a press conference with Cristiano, have said if the other teammates were at this level, we would be in a different situation. You understand? So we go from there and where we are right now. Like, don't misunderstand. Cristiano was the ultimate, alpha of alphas. Like, he had the right to say whatever the fuck he wanted to say because he earned it. So that's the thing. But like, I mean, I'm just trying to say is like Vini could also be like that. But that's there's a different in that level. So not just what he has developed onto on the pitch. I think also we have to appreciate the kind of player, like the kind of teammate he has developed also on off the pitch as well.
100%, 100%. The team basically roots for him. Yeah, it's a far cry from some of the basically muddled reactions from players that used to happen whenever Vinny had an outburst. It just goes to show this guy is a huge personality in the dressing room and basically in the hierarchy. I mean, who wouldn't look up to Vinny at this point? He is the poster boy. But yeah, the Mbappe thing, I don't know, man. They're all gonna be poster boys. The only guy I kind of feel a bit sad for is Rodrigo, but I'm pretty sure people who are doubting Rodrigo's credentials are gonna be rooting for him next season.
It's not about doubting Rodrigo's credentials, bro. It's about the fact that there just isn't space. You have to play just 11 players. I cannot play 12 players on the pitch, right? I mean, of course, like everyone believes that Rodrigo has that potential to be, something interesting as well. But just the point is, if the club is making an investment in Kylian Mbappe, so
man, the future is super bright. We should look at it that way.
Of course, definitely. These are fantastic headaches to have, man. These are fantastic headaches.
The formation can go the route of 4-3-3, and all three of them can start. Then it comes the battle of the midfield, where you have the conversation of is it Fede, is it Camavinga, is it Tchouaméni, is it Kroos, and all that, and Modric. I don't know. I don't know if you saw the news earlier in the day that Relevo basically broke that Modric won't be offered a contract. Quick thoughts on that, since we're on the topic, Faru? What do you reckon?
Well, I feel like it's more about the fact that Modric doesn't want to accept what's been offered rather than Modric wouldn't be offered a contract. I feel like the club and Carlo Ancelotti as well, we want Modric to stay on, but the point is I feel like Modric doesn't want to stay on in a reduced role, because the point is next year we know that Arda also is going to get a more prominent role in the team as well. So then it means even more time is taken away from Luka Modric. Maybe Arda becomes the first option of the bench. Who knows, So these are things that I feel like Modric is taking into consideration. It's very sad, but then this is Real Madrid. We don't do sentiments at this club, you understand? So what a better way than, to go to Wembley, win the trophy, and then, it's a sunset bye-bye, So yeah, it's very sad and unfortunate, but then yeah, time waits for no one, and eventually, it's a business, and Morris is just at the wrong end of his career, man, and he's been a
I
phenomenal player.
wouldn't. Yeah, 100%, 100%. No, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Cruz does the same. It's crazy. Just imagine a summer, Farouk. Cruz, Nacho, and Modric. Would you be able to handle it? Because I won't be.
I mean, I don't think the club can handle a departure of both at once. I think we just have to ease them out one by one. I don't know whatever it will take to get Cruz to stay. But I do get a sense of feeling that Cruz is going to stay. Although, yeah, we still don't know. Like, we've been reading a lot of bullshit, and still everyone is still telling us the same thing that we've known since the beginning of last summer. So, yeah,
Mo, I saw Mo is trying to flex his $1 subscription from Athletic, and you completely talk that down. Yeah, man, big up Farouk for talking the truth. Sometimes people get carried away with the logo. I feel like Mo has a tendency to overly trust Athletic, but I'm joking. Man knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, the point was like there was this article from the Athletic that had a shit ton of worth of text.
Man, that's how they put food on the table, right, Farouk? That's how they do it, right?
I mean, bro, like, why you, like, they literally posted that literally, I think, 10 minutes before Mo shared it with us, right? So he shared it, we clicked the link, and like, it's still like something still fresh out of the oven, right? So you've been expecting, okay, like, yeah, it's the Athletic, like, they're like a big fancy, outlet and shit like that, if
they're very reputed.
Exactly, if they're putting something out, fresh, like there's some information to share. And they're like, with Cruz, they don't know he's bro.
I can understand. I saw that. I was like, yeah, Farouk has a point, because I've tried to read some of the stuff they put out on. They're very reliable when it comes to the Premier League, Arsenal and whatnot, right? City, they do have a way with the Premier League. But
like,
when it comes
the thing is that, in my opinion, with the Athletic, just all this transfer news is horseshit. Like, when you start hearing like internal conflict and what's happening, like the internal dynamics of a club, I think the Athletic is quite good. And also, I do love the way they do like tactical breakdowns. But I think like when it comes to transfer and shit like that, nah, man, like they're just horseshit, bro.
Right. Yeah, like I'm not a huge fan of either of them. Have started to have a kind of a indifference towards guys like Fabrizio. I mean, big up Fabrizio, because he has walked his ass to actually get here. But yeah, like some of the stuff is basically eaten off other sources, day in day out. That's what they do. But then they claim to like, this is not trash talking Fabrizio, because there is a huge chance we might get to talk to him. Fabrizio, it's all love. It's just the world of journalism, and you are just a pawn in a big system. You got to do what you got to do, right? I mean, that's the only way to put it. But we just juggle topics all of a sudden. But we were talking about Vinny, basically the Ballon d'Or conversation, and then Jude. Vinny, I don't think there's much left to say about Vinny. We should probably mention his second goal. Brilliant. The goalkeeper could have done a bit better, but the presence of mind to basically have a look, pop it in, basically testing the goalkeeper's mettle, and he couldn't handle it. The power of the shot was too much. It took it all the way. The first goal, we have to shout out Kamavinga as well for the brilliant assist. Kamavinga was brilliant, Farooq, again, driving at players. When he is in motion, it's hard to stop him. Just has a knack.
Definitely, man. Kamavinga also laid down a marker that if Tchouaméni is not available, like, I am here, I can play the position. And the interesting thing about that game was like the freedom, the fluidity that we saw with the players. With the players today, that's something as well. Like, Kamavinga was literally in an unnatural position, or rather, what you consider an unnatural position, when he received the pass from Jude. And he was a brilliant layoff to Vinicius Junior. So that's the thing. Like, the great thing about this, midfield that we have right now is the fact that, they're very mobile, very intelligent players, who can literally they're not, okay, yeah, you're playing as a six or you're playing as an eight, it really doesn't matter, you understand? It's just, a mobile, midfield four that just, does their thing and they just, everyone takes turn playing certain positions. And I think that's one of the biggest factors of what this, midfield has to offer is that, mobility, that interchangeability.
Credit to Carlo for that. Basically, the front three interchanging positions, the midfield, really being super dynamic as well.
I mean, if you want to credit Carlo that, I will credit Carlo that. But the point is, it's just about the individual players as well. If you put me as a manager, most likely you would have gotten the same thing on the pitch. But anyways, yeah, if you guys want to stand
No
on
credit,
Carlo,
yeah.
you guys
Fair
can, you
enough,
guys
fair enough,
can.
fair
I
enough. I
mean,
would like to commend Carlo's, dynamic setup
I mean,
sometimes.
what do we need to comment about Carlo? Carlo is one of the good coaches that exists. Yeah, but the point is,
Yeah.
he's a past tense man.
Because
That's the thing.
I'm very harsh when it goes wrong, so on a good day like this, it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. If we have to maintain this status, we have to maintain
Yeah.
this, discussion. The point is that, in my opinion, okay, Carlo will keep winning, but the point is, yeah, we have, someone that all Real Madrid fans do not like, but he's going to win
Yeah.
6 titles in 7 years, unprecedented dominance in the history of football. We haven't seen that. Even in La Liga, he wasn't winning at this rate. So that's the thing, and he's winning by playing in a certain style as well. So it goes to show you that, yeah, it is possible. We shouldn't have all the investment we have and then be winning titles like Atletico. We're winning titles in 2014. So that's just it.
Fair play, fair play, fair play. We shouldn't really, talk about this to Farouk because, I don't want to bring the conversation up because we all know, where you stand. But yeah, you cannot back Carlo after the season, after what, and you've said it yourself. This season he has really, basically done the unthinkable. With the odds that he was, stacked up against. So yeah, man, uh, even the most adamant of if you remember Farouk, even were you in the chat for the City second leg? Because I was calling for Carlo's head, when it was the game at the Etihad. I was saying, Carlo needs to walk. I was screaming because I couldn't handle all that, but after what he managed to pull off, fair play, man, fair play. Right. Vinny, we have kind of, talked about him in general. Let's just get a few of the comments in quickly before we, move on to Jude. Right. Jabada was mentioning, honorable mention to Dan Thomas, former Real Madrid TV. Is he? Yeah. I've no clue if he has.
Dan Thomas actually started by working for Real Madrid. He lived in Madrid for I think for almost 10 years and shit like that. He works for Real Madrid
That's
house TV before he got the big break with ESPN. Yeah,
crazy. Even K. Murray used to work for Madrid.
exactly.
Real Madrid TV.
Yeah.
I remember that. He was also mentioning, I totally get why a fit Thibaut would be starting in a Champions League final for Madrid. But could you guys forgive him if he made a crucial mistake to lose us the final? That'll almost be sackable offense. That's the thing. We are not in a position to make the decision, so we can thank our lucky stars. Carlo and the boys are being paid $1 million to do it. I'm gonna be, basically playing some chess games with Francesco if he lets me, and try to kind of piece together what is they're thinking out of the Champions League final. Is it as straightforward as it looks like? Because Carlo actually came out and apparently said that the best goalkeeper in the world is going to start the Champions League final. I'm pretty sure he's not referring to Lunin. So yeah, I guess the decision is probably already made. But yeah, performances matter, and the Champions League. Champions League, Vinny has been the better player. Than Vinny is so much more lethal on the wing compared to Mbappe this year. Vinny is more natural on that position. Says Yabada, pick up yourself. He was also mentioning we don't expect same goal tally from Jude like we do from Mbappe and Vinny. 100%, he'll have a much more of a reserved role. But then again, I'm telling you, Jude from midfield with his capabilities, especially late runs and being that outlier in an attack, is gonna basically come in clutch. Dennis Zugate was mentioning Sunaid and Farouk, how's everything, guys? What a wonderful evening. What a performance from the boys, and I want to shout out especially Thibaut Courtois. He is definitely getting back to his rhythm. 100% big up Dennis. Yeah, but I was also mentioning you need a bit of selfishness to be a lethal striker. Jude isn't a striker, and therefore I think there wouldn't be any tension between him, Vinny, and Mbappe. There's absolutely going to be zero tensions. There's no way there's going to be any tension. Yeah, we mentioned the Sedlo thing. We basically started with that. So yeah, big up yourself. Yeah, but I was mentioning Vinny and Mbappe is a whole different situation. The best player will naturally be him and lead the strike force. I see tension between those two in the starting, but hopefully Carlo will sort that out. 100%. See, there might be tensions, right? Because the limelight is going to be heavily inclined towards Mbappe. It's like no matter what Vinny does, it's going to be all about Mbappe. Because we also how it went with Bale and Cristiano, although Bale didn't have the consistency. Even when Bale basically outplayed him, he just couldn't, stay in the limelight long enough to be considered in the same vein as Cristiano. It's going to be the same thing because let's be honest, Mbappe is a generational talent. Vinny is a generational talent, but Mbappe is the bigger generational talent, in my opinion. So it's always going to be, a situation that is a bit awkward. But those guys and the way our team is set up, the power of friendship is going to come through, like I always believe it will with Carlo. But yeah, Jude Bellingham, Farouk, walk us through the first goal. Did you think that he meant it, watching it in real time, the finish?
Yeah, man, I definitely, the way he kicked the ball, I honestly am not sure what he intended there, but I feel like it was a cross that eventually, the
For
miscued cross
Carvajal,
that, yeah, exactly. I feel it was a miscued cross that eventually became a goal, but whatever, like it's just, like I said at the beginning, like this game actually, in my opinion, is what you come to expect of a player like Jude Bellingham. Like this is this game showed his best qualities, and as you rightly mentioned, like while even he's going to play in the midfield next year, he's still going to get in on the goals. But the only thing is that he's not going to score 17 in 19 games like he did in the first half of the season. You understand? It's going to be something more of what we saw in the past weeks, a very dominating game in the middle of the park, scoring in, once in every 2 or once in every 3 games, something like that. But yeah, man, like it was a phenomenal ball from Toni Kroos, and Jude, had, I don't know, a cross come shot, whatever it is that eventually ended up in the back of the post. But again, it goes about, that understanding of space. And I think that's one of the best attributes of Jude, on knowing where to be at the right time, how to put himself in positions to receive balls in promising situations, again, that's the thing. And it helps a lot when you have a sniper like Toni Kroos, feeding you in.
10 assists for Kroos this season, already looking like it's one of his best ever seasons with Madrid. And Jude with 23 goals and 10 assists, all comps this season. I mean, those two guys are basically, the two, we could argue, the two biggest cornerstones of our season, who have been, like consistently ever present in, whatever good we did. Kroos obviously, wasn't perfect from him. A lot of misplaced passes, compared to what Kroos does on an average night out. But then again, Jude could have had even more goals. Remember the cross that Carvajal put for him on a plate, where Vinny basically, sends a diagonal out to Carvajal, and then Carvajal whips a ball in. Quality ball. Jude couldn't really control it. He tried to, control it with his knee. But then again, you remember the interplay, Farouk. Jude, Goler, and then Carvajal basically, putting it out wide. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like
right.
you don't want to.
That's the thing again, honestly. Like, so, like this team has a lot of potential. Honestly, I know we already talked about Carlo and all that. Like, that's really what hurts me a lot. That you have this team that can be such fluid, such interchangeable. So we have a lot of potential in this team, but then unfortunately we just aren't not exploiting it to the best. You're gonna win eventually one way or another. But the point is like, you can exploit, you can give more, eventually, like this is a game for the fans. It's all about, winning in the best possible way. Of course, yeah, it's about winning first and foremost, but winning the best possible way. I honestly, I'm saying to you, like this game offered a glimpse of, what our team can be. As you rightly mentioned, towards the end with that front four of, Jude, Vinny, Rodrigo, and Arda Güler, like it showed like what this team could be, I wish there was a way to also fit Brahim Diaz in there because I thought it was going to be even more
Brahim,
capitalizing,
Brahim would be overkill.
Like, of course you can. Like, I mean, that would be borderline arrogance if you're gonna go with five attackers. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
borderline arrogance. But honestly, like the play, the way they find each other and stuff like that. It's just like muscle memory. But like this is a
yeah,
front four that had never played together until today, actually. You
yeah.
know,
And
so
fans were crying out. Fans were crying out for this front four to, be given a chance because if
so that's the thing. Like
yeah,
honestly, like it's phenomenal. Honestly, like that's
mm,
it's the end of the game. When out the game on was really really good. Really
yeah.
really good. Honestly, really good.
Again, one thing that I'm going to say that you're going to hate Farouk is the fact that like although we were on the same boat, and I was very livid that sometimes we played like crap. Um, I feel like even if someone like Xabi Alonso comes along and he plays the most accelerating stuff, because we have seen glimpses of what this team can do, like you rightly pointed out, this game is one instance. Remember the final thrashing of Valencia. So they have been a lot of examples where our team looks super fluid. But what I would give Carlo the credit is, yes, right, Xabi Alonso might come and win games in the most exciting manner as possible, but I wouldn't still think of a game the same. If we play prime stuff and then go out crashing in the Champions League in the quarterfinals, like I wouldn't be okay with it. So like this is one thing that Carlo just has up his sleeve. Whether it be through black magic, pragmatism, power of friendship, when it comes to a big game, he just knows how to navigate it. And for me, that's always gonna trump whatever joy I get out of watching brilliant fluid football. At the end of the day. Um, but yeah, my temperament as I've grown older, my temperament for playing average football to get through a round is getting on my nerves. Not gonna lie, it's catching up quickly, But yeah, I'm still of the opinion that getting through is way more important at the end of the day. But 23 games unbeaten. We haven't lost at the Bernabeu since that eventful Villarreal loss. I think end of last season, 3-2 loss if I'm not mistaken. Bad night, but this team, despite all that, has come a long way from that point onwards. Um, right, third goal, Fede Valverde, Farouk,
Oh, bro,
trademark.
bro.
Mm.
Yeah, I was watching and the commentators were saying like, yeah, Fede hasn't scored a lot of goals this year, but like he has a knack for scoring the goals that you would never forget, man. Like, bro, what do you want to happen on that, man? Like, I mean, that was unfair, man. That was like a cheat code, man. You know, that was a cheat code. Like, there was no way to save that. Like, it was a phenomenal volley from Fede, honestly. Like, and it was a fantastic way, to literally cap his season. He's been an unsung hero with the whole, Jude Mania going around, and he's been a sidekick to the show, but he's been and also the resurgence of Tony Cruz as well.
He's
It's
the
literally
spine, Farouk. He's the spine,
exactly
isn't he?
exactly he is.
He's the spine.
He definitely he's the glue that holds everything together. Like he's also like, and most importantly, he's Mr. Durable. When everyone has been falling like flies, left, right, middle,
Yeah,
center, he's been there. He's
50
been there.
games on the trot is
Like
just
he's been there. Like Cruz was
crazy.
injured, Bellingham was injured, Tchouaméni was out, Camavinga was out. He's been there. He's been there delivering week in, week out, week in, week out. Doing whatever is asked of him. Let's not forget there was a time where Tchouaméni, Camavinga were out. We had to change back to the box midfield. Him
Yeah,
and
pivot of
Cruz.
Cruz and Fede. Yeah,
Exactly. So he's done literally whatever is needed by the team. Cleaned up the mess, created a bit of the attack. This and that. So yeah, man, like that goal I think was a feather to his cap. It's been a great season from Fede, honestly, and I kind of feel like we always have this discussion about what's going to happen with the midfield and what is not, and
yeah,
like Jude is a lock and this and that. I think
yeah.
Fede is a lock in the midfield. I don't
Fede
I
should be
don't
a
think
lock.
there is any issue. I think the what's not a lock
Yeah,
is, I don't know, Chouameni, Cruz, Kamavinga. I think that's the thing that you're gonna argue about. But I think Fede and Jude are like the locks in the middle of the park, and Fede has more than deserved that. Then yeah, I think which I mean we are expecting Nacho to leave, and Luka Modric maybe might follow suit. Fede is going to be one of the captains of the team next year as well, and I think rightly deservedly so, man. Rightly deservedly so.
I don't know if you remember, Farouk. I used to mention about Fede Valverde's close range passing, especially when playing deep. Interchanging um, or distributing the ball. Even Fede seemed a bit lacking. Like I don't know if you were here. I think it was you and Mo, and we had this discussion. And Mo is like, he is not that kind of a player. But I
Yeah,
was of the impression that Fede isn't a Cruz, isn't a Modric. He isn't that sublime of a passer, especially in tight spaces. But if he adds that to his game, it's gonna
yeah,
really make him step up another level. And I think we are seeing quite a bit of that blossom as the year progressed, Faru. I'm super happy with how dynamic again he has been. He was an excellent box to box, at the beginning, when we won 1920 La Liga and, had an incredible 21-22 where we, just couldn't get over the line at the end. Not 2022, 2021, the final season
yeah.
under, Zidane's
Zidane, yeah,
second stint. And then he moved on to the right wing, and then now he has a much more reserved role as part of a pivot. This guy, like, what can't he do really on the pitch? I think the only place he is gonna be, I see a future where he might be thrust into right back, where he has shown that he can do an okay job, more than
yeah.
decent job. But that's the only position I think where it's left to basically for him to cement himself. Like apart from that, like he can basically play everywhere. I feel like even in a must win game, I can see Fede if the situation arises. Someone on a particular team's left hand side is very potent and is going to be a headache. I can see Fede starting right wing and basically inverting and covering all that ground centrally as well to give us an upper hand. This man can do anything for anything. Like no awards are gonna come looking for him. No PR is gonna come looking for him. He plays for Uruguay. I mean, the odds are completely against him. But just imagine him winning at least some awards at the UFS ceremony or the FIFA awards. It's got to be incredible. Fede Valverde has just made a huge case for every um ounce of doubt that has been thrown his way. How would he adapt? How would he step up? How would he basically mature as the years go by? Yeah, this man shouldn't be overlooked in any discussion for top three, top two midfielders in Europe. But would he be in people's conversation though, Farouk? Yeah, that's the real thing. Right? Like he
Nah,
wouldn't.
he
He
wouldn't
wouldn't.
be, man. Yeah, I mean, he should be, but as you rightly mentioned, like, he's one of those
Yeah.
players that, he's not, yeah, it's just one of those players that go under the radar, man. Like, he wouldn't be
Mm,
in those conversations, man. He wouldn't be.
100%. Let me look at the chat quickly. Give me a second. Jabal was mentioning Vinny and Mbappe is a whole different situation. The best player will naturally be him, and the lead strike was I see tension. Oh, I read that. May Jude continue to score? Does match-winning goals in the El Clasico though? Yeah, 100%. Two big goals this year. Um, Jabal was also mentioning Carlos' cool head and experience is key for our success. This is what is needed in a team like ours. He transmits that ever so well to the players. That wins us matches when the stakes are high. 100%. 100%. Um, yeah, I couldn't be thankful enough for Carlo. Right. We spoke about the fourth goal as well. Goaler. Let's kind of slowly start to wrap things up. Farouk. Goaler though, 4 goals in a season where he was sidelined for God knows how long. Had an injury relapse, unexpected. People were terrified. I didn't know what to expect. I'm pretty sure the club didn't know what to expect from someone who was super young, who looked kind of, super meek, lean. It didn't look like he was up for the challenge initially, at least physically. But then you see transformation in his body language, his body, the way he conducts himself, the way basically the team when he comes on, it is given a lift, and the team basically plays to his tune, man. he just is looking like that dark horse that Brahim was this year. Guler is going to be that guy next year.
Yeah, I mean, why not both? Why not both? Well, like,
Yeah.
I think that's the major thing, with Arda is that, like, you see that, this is a player that literally, like, is a
Mm.
nobody, basically. He's a player that, yeah, he's played for a while in Turkey, but, like, he's not a player that made waves and that player that, would command, I don't know, anything. But you could see how much his teammates trust him, you understand? We're talking about
Yeah.
Ballon d'Or level players, you understand? And he's coming onto the game and they're looking for him to dictate the tempo of the match. You understand? That
Yeah.
tells you how much, I mean, they're seeing things that we don't see, you understand? Like, they're the ones who train with him. So they definitely must have seen that, yeah, okay, this guy is the guy. And you know what, tonight, actually, for me, I feel like the reason why we are seeing this part of Arda right now is that
Hmm.
if you throw Arda into the pressure cooker of a of a quarterfinal against City or a semi-final against Bayern, I feel like
Yeah.
that might be unfair to him. But then
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
put him into the games that are of, basically no importance, you're allowing
Yeah.
him to, join a winning team. This is a team that has not lost, I think, in 30 games now, or in how many games? I don't
Yeah.
know what the exact number is.
23.
But 23. So, like,
Mm.
not home games, but I mean in the whole season. I think we haven't lost since we
Whole
played
Yeah,
since we
30,
played
but
at
it's the
oh
23,
yeah.
23 games on the trot that we are undefeated. Now, this is the current streak.
Okay,
But if
yeah.
we
So,
haven't
like,
lost in the Champions League or the league since the Atleti lost in September, that's
in
man,
September,
that's
right? Yeah,
that's light years ago. I remember that
exactly.
feeling. Holy fuck! But yeah.
So that's the thing, like, you look at that,
Mm.
like, it's literally a winning team. So,
Mm.
you can easily bet him into it and, like, let him do the thing, like, literally give him the reins. Because, like, he was playing in the B team, like, he was taking the reins of the
Mm.
team. Like, the team was, flowing through him and Brian Diaz. So, like, that's it, like, that ability to give up such a player, like, I don't want to say young, but rather inexperienced player, because, like, age is just a number, when it comes to football. The point is, like, what's your experience? Like, he's a very inexperienced and raw player, you understand? So giving him that, a gentle introduction into the team, into the league, I think that's done wonders for him and for his confidence. And we can see that it's literally paying off right now when he's, playing with the big boys and he doesn't look out of place. He looks like he has been doing this for the past 1 million years, man. Like, kudos to him, and also, like, credit in this case to Carlo Ancelotti as well, for, like, not, biting the gun and trying to play him too soon or something like that. But yeah, this is just it. Like, and I totally agree. Like, next season we're gonna see even much more, from our midfielder, hopefully, if he's able to stay fit.
There were rumors, I don't know if it was last month or a couple of months ago that I think it has died down a bit, but he might be loaned out and whatnot. That was kind of the stuff that I was hearing, especially on Twitter. Um, but like I would completely trust the board, because who am I to basically doubt them? Because
Actually, Carlo has
mm,
actually categorically said that he's not going to be loaned
mm,
out. He's going to be part of the squad next year as well.
I hope that's the case. I hope that's the case, and
I
he
mean,
doesn't go
unless
back
if
on it.
something monumental
Mm,
happens and, like, there's a new
mm.
transfer, I don't think Arda leaves.
Yeah, yeah. That's 100% the way it should be. Because just like, even if he doesn't get minutes much, he would definitely get more minutes compared to this year, especially with how it's looking for guys like Modric. And also, since we are on Modric, right? Like, people were kind of insinuating that he was bought in as the replacement for Modric. Initially, I didn't see it. I really didn't see it. But then, I started remembering where Luka Modric kind of started his glory days. Was as a cam. He could play out wide as well when needed, and look just as intricate and um, accelerating as what Guler does. Obviously, Guler is, like you mentioned, a bit more raw. Modric at Tottenham. I only had the pleasure of watching him at Tottenham. I haven't really watched him at Dinamo Zagreb, but yeah, like, Guler just looks like a strong candidate. Like, I can see similarities. I can see why people are kind of insinuating that he can, if he's physically a bit more matured up, and he gains the experience, he can play a bit more deeper, and he has played a bit more deeper for the national side and even for Fenerbahce, right? Like,
Yeah.
so he has experience, and I feel like he has everything in the locker to excel in a role similar to that. But yeah, that this just goes to show, like, we had a lot of good things. I'm so thankful for this season. A lot of good things that went when all could have gone south, all could have gone wrong. The way the season started with the Kepa loan signing, I wasn't really ready for what I was, uh, what I was about to witness this season, especially in terms of historic turnarounds. And Goaler is one of them. 4 goals this season, not a bad return. Not a bad return for someone who was, bought in as a surprise package, surprise signing. Right, Farooq, I guess that's pretty much it. We have to mention our partners, Manscaped. Big up Manscaped every single time. Uh, the link is in the description below. Go check them out. LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Obviously, the pioneers of below the waist grooming for men. They have a huge catalog of products ranging from, trimmers, loungewear, beard waxes, you name it. Probably Manscaped has it. Big up Manscaped every single time for supporting true football movements, just like us, just like they've been doing for all those even some of our close friends in the UK. They have been supporting. They have been supported by Manscaped ever since. Like, I've started watching podcasts, especially football podcasts. So yeah, big up Manscaped every single time. Big up our partners, Real Madrid Committee on Instagram. Go check them out. They have a brilliant Instagram Madrid fan page. Go check them out. Smash the follow. And yeah, big up our audio listeners as well for always sending in feedback, positive and negative. What makes this podcast what it is because this is a two-way street, and we can have a very civil conversation about football without making it personal. Like, I've had instances where I had to really put some people in their places. In some weeks leading up to May, but yeah, when you keep it civil, when you keep it a football conversation, we are all for it. You can hit us up anytime you want, whether you disagree or agree with anything what we say. But yeah, man, it's play it cool, play it cool. Right, we are here to talk about football, not to talk about politics, not to talk about anything else. But yeah, bro, Farooq, closing thoughts. What's your feeling like 2 weeks away from the final?
Yeah, man. I mean, if there's any indication today, like the reason why Jude, Rodrigo, and Bellingham stayed till the end of the game was because like Carlo wanted them to be in rhythm. Carlo didn't want to, interrupt the flow that they had. And although people
Yeah.
might want to talk, okay, like Rodrigo didn't score or not, but I feel like he also had a really good game. Of course, he was overshadowed by both Jude and and Vini, but I feel like he had a good game and still just does what Ashik was saying in the chat. Like he seems to always shoot straight at the goalkeeper for some weird reason. But yeah, like they were all playing, and I honestly
Oh, Rodrigo, yeah. Like, I have to
yeah
mention him. He was trying. He was trying. Some of his
yeah
some of his take-ons, some of his like, very direct dribbling was a pleasure to watch.
yeah
100%.
they
But
were there. I really wish they could finish with a goal, but like bro, like
yeah,
I just felt like if we
BD
have the
basically laid it on the plate. Remember, like, the
yeah
chance you
yeah
mentioned,
yeah yeah
straight
yeah
at
yeah.
the keeper, straight at the keeper. Mm.
So I really hope like they can carry this form into that game on June 1st, because I feel like if we can carry the form that we're showing right now with Tony Kroos, with Jude Bellingham, with Freddie as well, Vinicius, Rodrigo, I feel like we will be very, very, very strong, contenders in that game, and I will be really comfortable with that. Like the way we play today, just slowly gives me more confidence that yeah, like we're in our groove. And as I said, like it was, the game came so easy to Vinicius and Jude, and that's a good thing,
Yeah,
man. Like they're not trying or forcing to make stuff happen, So that's the thing. Like when the game is coming easy, like you're in form, man. So yeah, let's take that form into the game on June 1st.
100%. Dortmund won't be easy. People who are completely writing off Dortmund will will be reminded. Hopefully, I hope they'll look back at Bayern and really really watch that match back, because yes, Bayern are in the great side. Nearer Dortmund this season, especially quality wise. But when some people would argue they had the easier bracket and whatnot, but the amount of odds they have to overcome and all that, we have to give them their true credit. Dortmund
Definitely,
is
definitely. it's a one-off game. Anything can happen when it's a UCL final, and let's not forget, like
Yeah.
Dortmund have been here and they've lost before, so they'll be out, and they lost at Wembley in 2013.
And
Let's
they're
not forget.
massive
So
underdogs, right? Like, so the pressure is basically off their shoulders for,
exactly.
like, in my
I mean,
opinion.
the point is, Erdin Terzic is basically, in Wonderland. He never expected to be here. Let's not forget, like, they were drawn in the group of that, They were drawn in the group of that, and like the thing is, like, anyone who's seen a bit of Dortmund this year in the UCL knows that the Dortmund in the league and the Dortmund in UCL are two different animals. They literally held Kylian Mbappe goalless in 180 minutes. You understand? So that's the thing. Let's not forget, like, this is a team that knocked out AC Milan and Newcastle, as well. So they also knocked out Atletico Madrid. So like, it's not like they've had an easy path. They've had a really, 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 difficult path to get to the final.
Considering
So,
their level, they had a very difficult path as well.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, Sunil, the point is, if Real Madrid is knocking out Paris and Atletico Madrid, I think that says a lot, nah?
100%, 100%.
Back to back, of course, it's not as strong as knocking out Man City and Bayern Munich, but like, that's the thing as well. Like, it's not like they were knocking out people like Porto and Benfica. With all due respect to the Portuguese league and all that. So yeah, they were knocking out big guns as well. So I feel like it's and especially when you mentioned, like, considering also their level. I think Dortmund are fifth in the league right now. I'm not sure exactly, maybe fourth, maybe 15 or something like that. Like, they're not even, if not because of the whole fifth place in the Champions League, they might not.
Did they lose 3-0? I saw Sam mentioning in the chat. Did they actually lose that game?
I think they lost 3-1 or something like that. I'm not sure exactly, but they lost. Yeah, basically they lost. They lost. So that's the thing. Like, I mean, that's Dortmund in the league. Like, Dortmund in the league is horseshit. Like, don't even look at that and consider anything, man. Nah, they're horseshit, man. Like, I remember seeing Dortmund at the San Siro against Milan, and they literally were playing like they were at home, man. They had like maybe 1,000 fans, and their fans were louder than the whole 60,000 in the whole of the stadium, man. So like, that's the thing. Like, they're gonna bring that atmosphere there, and like, they have players that are departing. The Hummels, the Marco Reus's, and all that. So it's gonna be also something. And as I mentioned, like, they lost in the same stadium in 2013. With Jurgen Klopp. So like, they're gonna be out. To make amends for that. So like, playing Dortmund is not gonna be easy. It's a one-off game. Final.
Is it also true that Terzic doesn't really have a history of actually playing the sport? Is it true?
I think Terzic, wasn't a player. I think, was he? Like, I think he retired early or some shit like that. I don't know. But anyways, what I do know is, like, Terzic was a fan that was part of the Yellow Wall that eventually became the coach. Like, he's literally.
That's probably what I heard. Yeah. Yeah,
like,
he was a fan.
He was part of the Yellow Wall, bro. Like, he was part of the ultras in the Yellow Wall, and then he became a coach. So like, it's crazy horseshit, bro. Like, it's literally a dream come true for him. So imagine if he goes on to lead them to the UCL.
Yeah, not on our watch, but would be a phenomenal story. He would save it. He could save it. He could save it. But all credit to Dortmund, like you said, man. Amazing story. But Sid was reminding me of some things. My memory is shit. Like, I can't remember what happened last week. Nevertheless, what happened 6-7 years ago. But I remember the huge chatter on Twitter. Oh, this Champions League is for Buffon. Buffon deserves to finally lift the Champions League. Remember that, Farouk? Right?
Yeah, definitely. I know that with the UV team, right? Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, and then we turned up in purple, which, while watching the game, like, man, I was just the same guy, a bit more, maybe leaner, a bit less gray hair. Back in 2017, I was shitting myself. Like, why the fuck are we wearing purple playing the final, right? Like, I was just going, like, purple is a huge... Purple has a huge affiliation with our club crest and history, but like, I was going insane. Like, what are we doing to ourselves? And then boom, we turn up, put away Juve 4-1, who didn't lose up until that point.
Exactly, man. Exactly, with the whole BBC defense, right? Yeah, he was crazy. He was crazy.
Yeah, Barzagli. Nobody remembers Barzagli anymore, but what a player he was. But yeah, man. So that's the thing, like, like this, the people are saying this is Rios's Champions League to win. He deserves it and whatnot. I hope we turn up and shut up the conversation, because it's us against the world. Like, I don't know why people think more people would like Madrid to win compared to someone like City. It's not the case. It's not the case. People don't really want Madrid to win the 15th. Just wake up, smell the coffee. FS Shamail, pick up yourself. He was mentioning Arda Güler and Bellingham was a great game, had a great game as well. We all have to remember their age, and I have to say Madrid's dedication to be the greatest club of all time, Real Madrid. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, the age. I mean, Farouk doesn't really factor it in, but for me, it is a factor. Because I know I wasn't the same guy when I was 20. I was like, I'm not the same person I was, when I was 25. It just, you mature up. You live, you learn. That's the best way to put it. Even in football, you learn every week. Um, Big up Jabada. He was also mentioning you all deserve credit as well. Big up yourselves for all the great content. Be it the post match watch alongs or just the clips. Keep up the great work. Hello Madrid. Pick up yourself for tuning in. Pick up every single one who tunes in, who can't tune in, who will be tuning in on the audio platforms later. But yeah, man, you guys make this show what it is. But I guess that's pretty much it. We have a game with the Ceramica next week, and it's going to be a nice one as well. We'll be doing a preview hopefully before the end of the week. Watch out for it. Farouk and Jacob would be covering it as usual. But yeah, people, I guess that's pretty much it for today. Until next time, Ala Madrid.
Madrid. All right, stream ended, recording ended.